Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare states $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that carries history, beauty, and even the possibility of surprising value, the United States $quarter from New Jersey, minted in 1999. This was one of the very first coins released in the state quarter program, and it has captured the imagination of collectors ever since. The New Jersey quarter is special because it tells a story. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a powerful image inspired by the famous painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware River during the Revolutionary War. Washington is standing strong, leading his troops across the icy waters on that daring night in December 1776. The scene is dramatic, full of motion, and it connects us to one of the most iconic moments in America's fight for independence. Above the design, you see the state's name, New Jersey, and the year it became part of the Union, 1787. It's more than a coin, it's a miniature history lesson you can hold in your hand. Now, while millions of these coins were produced in 1999, not all of them are equal in the eyes of collectors. The value of a New Jersey quarter really depends on condition, rarity, and the possibility of errors. Most circulated quarters are still worth face value, but if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, the story changes completely. Collectors love coins with sharp details and a bright original shine, and the earlier state quarters, like this one, have become especially popular as more and more people have started collecting them. What makes this quarter even more exciting is the variety of minting errors that have been discovered over the years. Some quarters have off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't struck properly. Others show doubling in the lettering or on Washington's profile, which happens when the die strikes the coin more than once. There are also examples where the metal planchet wasn't cut correctly, leading to clipped planchets with missing edges. Each of these errors makes the coin unique, and for collectors, unique often means valuable. The rarity of error quarters cannot be overstated. While millions of perfect coins rolled out of the mints in Philadelphia and Denver, error coins slipped through in very small numbers. That's why collectors are constantly checking their change, hoping to find one of these special pieces. The thrill of discovering an error coin is like striking gold. It's rare, exciting, and instantly makes the coin far more valuable than its ordinary counterparts. Another key factor is grading. Coins that have been preserved in exceptional condition, graded by professional services, often fetch much higher prices at auctions. A coin that looks ordinary to the naked eye might, under magnification, reveal near-perfect surfaces and sharp details that push its value well beyond the typical range. So now the big question: what is a 1999 New Jersey quarter really worth? Well, most circulated examples are worth only a quarter, but uncirculated coins can be worth several dollars. And those rare error coins, especially the dramatic ones, have been known to sell for hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, pristine graded examples have reached into the high hundreds, and certain error pieces have crossed into the thousands, making them highly sought-after treasures in the collecting world. So, if you come across a 1999 New Jersey quarter, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look, check for errors, and if it's in great shape, you might just be holding onto something worth a lot more than 25 cents. Top 2, we're focusing on a fascinating piece from the America the Beautiful Quarter series, the United States $quarter from 2019 honoring Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts. At first it may look like just another quarter in your pocket, but believe me, this one can be a surprising find, especially if you happen to stumble across certain rare errors or top condition examples. The Lowell quarter is more than just a piece of currency, it's a story of American history captured in metal. The design on the reverse shows a young mill girl working at a loom with the large wood mill clock tower standing in the background. This image celebrates the important role of women and industry during the Industrial Revolution, and it's one of the most detailed and striking designs of the entire America the Beautiful series. On the front of the coin, of course, is George Washington's portrait, the same trusted face we've seen on quarters for generations. Now here's where things get interesting. Millions of these quarters were struck in 2019 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, plus smaller amounts at San Francisco for proof versions. That means most of the Lowell quarters you'll encounter are still worth face value. But as coin collectors know, the real treasure comes from rarity, condition, and most of all, minting errors. Some Lowell quarters left the mint with unusual mistakes, and these are the ones that drive collectors crazy. A few examples include off-center strikes where parts of the design are missing, double die varieties where the details on the lettering or the design appear doubled, and even planchet errors where the coin itself is missing part of its rim or has extra metal. These errors slip through quality control in small numbers, making them incredibly rare compared to the millions of normal coins. Another key factor is the condition of the coin. Coins that went directly from the mint into collector hands without ever entering circulation are called uncirculated, and those with mirror-like finishes from special proof sets are even more desirable. Collectors spend big money for coins that have been preserved with perfect luster and no marks or scratches. Graded examples, especially those that earn the highest grades from professional grading services, can climb in value very quickly. It's also worth noting that because the Lowell quarter was one of the earlier issues in the America the Beautiful series, collectors jumped on them quickly. As years go by, fewer pristine examples remain in circulation, which makes high-quality Lowell quarters more desirable with each passing year. And of course, error varieties, especially dramatic ones, are in a class of their own. What can these quarters actually be worth? Well, while the average circulated Lowell quarter is still just 25 cents, uncirculated examples can sell for several dollars. Special proof issues bring in even more, often reaching into the tens of dollars. But here's the exciting part: error quarters and high-grade graded examples have sold for hundreds, and in some auction cases, they've even crossed into the thousands of dollars. Yes, that's right, a coin you might overlook in your pocket change could potentially be worth hundreds or even thousands if it's the right variety and in top condition. So the next time you see a Lowell quarter from 2019, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look at the details, check for errors, and if you find one in pristine condition, you might just be holding onto a tiny piece of history that's also a valuable treasure. Top 3, we're looking at one of the most interesting coins from the state quarter program, the United States quarter dollar from Kansas, minted in 2005. At first glance, it may look like just another coin, but believe me, this quarter has some secrets that have made it famous in the collecting world. The Kansas quarter was the 34th design released in the popular state quarter program, which ran from 1999 through 2008. On the reverse side of this coin, you'll find the iconic American bison, sometimes called a buffalo, standing tall on the plains. Above the bison is the state's name, Kansas, and the year it joined the Union, 1861. To the left is the state flower, the sunflower, a fitting symbol for the sunflower state. Together, the bison and sunflower create one of the most recognizable and symbolic designs in the entire quarter series, but here's where things start to get really fun. While millions of Kansas quarters were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, not all of them turned out exactly as planned. Some left the mint with errors that have since become famous among collectors, and these errors are the reason the Kansas quarter has gained legendary status in coin collecting circles. The most well-known error is often called the "In God We Rust" quarter. Yes, you heard that right. On some Kansas quarters, the T in the word trust was either filled with grease or struck weakly, leaving the phrase on the coin as "In God We Rust." This quirky minting error has made these quarters incredibly popular with collectors, both for the humor and for the rarity. Depending on condition, these error coins can be worth far more than a regular Kansas quarter, but that's not the only error to look out for. There are also examples of double dies where certain letters or details on the bison appear doubled. Off-center strikes, where the design is not properly centered on the coin, have also been discovered. Even more unusual are die breaks, sometimes called cuds, which appear as raised lumps of metal on the surface of the coin. Each of these errors makes the coin unique, and collectors love coins that stand out from the millions of ordinary pieces. Condition also plays a huge role in determining value. Most Kansas quarters you'll find in circulation are worn from years of use, and those are usually worth just face value. But uncirculated examples that went directly from the mint into storage are far more desirable. Collectors especially value coins that have been graded by professional services and given high marks for quality. A Kansas quarter with sharp details, no scratches, and full mint luster can sell for a surprising amount, especially when combined with an error variety. Another thing to remember is that the state quarter program sparked a massive wave of collecting interest in the early 2000s. Millions of Americans started saving these quarters, which means early designs like Kansas became instant favorites. Over time, many of those collections were broken up, but the demand for unusual and high-quality examples remained strong. That's why certain Kansas quarters continue to appear in auctions and surprise collectors with their hammer prices. So what about the real value? Well, an ordinary circulated Kansas quarter is usually worth just a quarter. But an uncirculated example can fetch several dollars. Those special proof issues from San Francisco can go for even more. And the famous, "In God We Rust" error coins, along with other rare mistakes, have sold for hundreds of dollars depending on condition. In some cases, especially with high-grade examples, they've even reached into the thousands of dollars at auctions. So the next time you come across a 2005 Kansas quarter, don't overlook it. Take a close look at the motto, check for doubling or off-center strikes, and if it's in pristine shape, you might just be holding a coin that's worth far more than 25 cents. Top 4, we're heading to the Pacific Northwest to talk about a coin that represents natural beauty, American history, and hidden value, the United States quarter dollar from Washington, released in 2007. The Washington quarter from 2007 is part of the famous state quarter program, and it showcases one of the most breathtaking designs of the entire series. On the reverse side of this coin, you'll see a detailed image of a salmon leaping majestically out of the water with Mount Rainier towering in the background. It's a stunning scene that captures both the wildlife and the rugged landscape that Washington State is known for. Above the design, you see the state's name, and below it, the year it became part of the Union in 1889. It's not just a coin, it's a little piece of art that tells the story of a state rich in natural wonder. Now, while millions of these coins were struck by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints in 2007, not all of them are equal when it comes to collecting value. The majority that went into circulation are still worth just face value, but for collectors, the real treasure lies in condition and error varieties. That's where the Washington quarter gets really interesting. Let's start with condition. Coins that were pulled straight from the mint and carefully preserved can be worth more than you'd think. Collectors love coins that still shine with original luster, showing no scratches, no wear, and sharp, clean details. Those that have been graded at the highest levels by professional services often bring in strong prices, because they're so hard to find in flawless condition after so many years. But what really makes this coin exciting are the minting errors. Error coins have always been a favorite for collectors, because each one is unique. With the Washington quarter, some of the most sought-after errors include off-center strikes where the design isn't properly aligned, double dies where letters or parts of the salmon appear doubled, and die cracks that leave raised lines or blobs of extra metal across the design. These unusual quirks slip through the minting process, and because only a small number made it into circulation, they've become rare finds worth far more than an ordinary quarter. There are also proof versions of the Washington quarter that were made at the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins have mirror-like surfaces and incredible detail, and while they were sold directly to collectors, they too can carry a premium today, especially if they've been kept in perfect condition. Silver-proof quarters from this year are especially popular because of their precious metal content and their beauty. What makes the Washington quarter from 2007 so appealing is that it combines artistry, history, and the thrill of discovery. Every time someone finds one of these coins in change, there's always the chance it could be something special. Collectors are drawn to that excitement, and it's why coins like this continue to attract attention even years after they were released. So now you're probably wondering, what's the real value of this coin? Well, the truth is that most circulated Washington quarters from 2007 are worth only 25 cents. But when you move into uncirculated condition, proof issues, or rare error coins, the story changes dramatically. Some have sold for tens of dollars, others for hundreds, and in certain auction cases, the rarest and highest graded examples have even reached into the thousands of dollars. So the next time you see a Washington quarter from 2007, don't just spend it. Take a closer look at its details, check the condition, and see if you might be holding something rare. You never know when a coin from your pocket could turn out to be a true collector's treasure. Top 5, and last rare coin. We're traveling to Colorado through one of the most stunning coins in the America the Beautiful series, the 2014 Great Sand Dunes National Park Quarter. At first glance, it may look like just another modern quarter, but this coin tells a story of nature, beauty, and for collectors, the possibility of hidden value. The Great Sand Dunes Quarter was released in 2014, and it features one of the most breathtaking designs in the entire series. On the reverse, you see a child playing in the sand while an adult looks on, with the massive sand dunes and majestic mountains towering in the background. It's a peaceful yet powerful image, capturing the wonder of the largest sand dunes in North America. On the front, as always, is George Washington's familiar portrait, which has graced the quarter since 1932. Now, millions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia and Denver coins went into circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced both clad and silver-proof versions for collectors. That means the majority of Great Sand Dunes quarters are still worth just face value, but as always, the story gets interesting when you look at rarity, condition, and errors. Collectors love coins that have been preserved in pristine condition, never touched by circulation. These uncirculated coins hold much more appeal, especially when they've been professionally graded at high levels. Proof coins, especially the silver proofs, are even more beautiful with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, and these naturally command higher prices among collectors. But what really makes this coin exciting are the minting errors that slip through. Some of the errors collectors have reported on Great Sand Dunes quarters include off-center strikes where the design is visibly shifted, double die varieties where parts of the lettering or design appear doubled, and die cracks that create raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface. In rare cases, planchet errors have shown up too, where the coin wasn't struck on a perfect blank. These kinds of mistakes turn an ordinary quarter into something unique, and uniqueness is what collectors chase after. Another reason this coin is popular is that the America the Beautiful series has grown in demand since it ended in 2021. People who are now building complete sets are going back to find earlier issues like the Great Sand Dunes Quarter, which pushes demand higher for coins in top condition or with rare features. That extra demand, combined with the natural beauty of the design, makes this quarter especially interesting to collectors today. So, what about value? Well, most circulated Great Sand Dunes quarters from 2014 are still only worth 25 cents. But uncirculated examples can bring in several dollars, silver-proof versions can sell for much more, and the rare error coins have been known to fetch hundreds depending on the severity and clarity of the mistake. In fact, some of the highest graded examples and unusual error coins have even sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So, the next time you come across a 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter, don't spend it too quickly. Take a careful look, check for unusual features, and if you see something rare or it's in flawless condition, you might just be holding a coin worth far more than its face value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Great Sand Dunes quarter, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another discovery in the world of coins. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.